Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing tonight? Happy April 1st. I'll pop on the camera here in a second. April 1st, often referred to as April Fool's Day, and no fooling. This is not a lie. And it's so hard to say this, but Monsanto has offered me a job, and I think I'm going to take it. I need the money that bad. Psych! Like there is any way I would ever do that. I've been offered large sums of money several times in my life. Once was to go train people to track in the Middle East, and I chose not to do it at the time because my daughter had just been born. And the other time was when they offered me quite a hefty sum of money to replace Bear Grylls when he got fired. When one of my students ratted him out for going back and forth to a hotel every night. So they called me, and I just laughed at them and hung up because, I'd go into a place like Cabela's or Bass Pro, and you'd see these like cardboard cutout of Bear Grylls, with, some poorly made machete or, badly designed knife. And, you guys have heard me rant enough about a lot of the shows that perpetuate the myth of humans and nature in an adversarial relationship. And not only that, but some of them aren't indicative of a survival situation, like a true survival. Alone is a prime example. Even somebody such as myself who is highly skilled, you could take me to the most ideal place at the most ideal time of the year, and I'm not talking the tropics because that's easy, but and even by myself, it's hard. That's why at the end of my survival webinars, I always say you have to be really damn good at survival skills to die from starvation. Yeah, because even though we can go up to 30 days without food, once we've established a shelter, have a means to make fire and a water source, we're going to spend, depending on where we are, 70 to 90% of our day feeding ourselves, through trapping and hunting. Plus, we are meant to live together. I got Core Dog here, who's been my rock and my anchor for almost 14 years. She's still good, but I know the time is running out. And I'm so thankful for her. The title of this is Gratitude and Thanksgiving, and I'm so thankful for this animal. because she has taught me so much about myself, about how to care for another being, another someone. And it's just, yeah. But she's still good. We went on an hour walk before in the woods. She's just getting a little blind and a little deaf. But yeah, I absolutely love her to death. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Emotional mess lately. Yeah, so welcome everybody to T3Live. I'm not sure what episode we're at. I kind of stopped numbering them a while ago. And just go with a basic theme. This one being uh, just being so incredibly thankful for all the people that have, donated to my IndieGoGo campaign and, reached out to me. Even if they couldn't donate, send me an email, encouraging me, telling me I can do it. I've connected with people who are going to help me with my website, and it's just like launching that Indiegogo campaign was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. I, but in this current state of affairs, I really had no choice. And ironically, I was researching, what is the best crowdfunding website, for small businesses that are in need of like immediate capital. And they all kept saying Indiegogo. So I spent, a full day writing that, the words, putting it together, friends editing it, and then I got some donations, and then my dad mentioned it during one of his live streams, and it went from $200 to I think I'm at $3,200 right now. But then I come to find out that with Indiegogo, you can't get the money until 2 to 3 weeks after your campaign ends. And I'm doing a 60-day campaign. And I wrote them an email and I was like, why did you not make this more clear? That I figured the way it worked would be, since you can either just donate or you can choose one of the perks. I figured that since, people were donating money and not expecting anything in return, I'd at least be able to access some of that. So, I'm not going to have access to any of those funds until middle of May, end of May, when, like, I need them now. But, the irony. Yeah, I realize now there's another competitive, you know, competing website to them where you can actually draw money out, as your campaign grows. And, after that campaign ends, I'm actually going to start another one. And this one is going to be one that is going to run in perpetuity. And it's going to be the start of my end goal in the legacy I'm trying to build is free nature education for anybody who wants it. Yeah, that's what I'm working towards, because now more than ever, people need nature in their lives. Look at with the pandemic and the vitamin D. We get vitamin D from being in the sun. We're not meant to sit inside boxes all day. We're not meant to sit on our asses all day. That's not, you know, that's not life. As somebody who has, gone out into the woods and instead of selling my time to someone for an imaginary currency that a government or a bank can just print as much as they want with nothing behind it, uh, you know, my job was to wake up and provide myself with food, clothing, and shelter and drinkable water. And it's funny how now, as I said, now we sell our time to somebody else's dream so somebody else can fulfill their dream. We sell our precious time, what little time we have on this earth, um, to someone so we can buy food, clothing, and shelter. I have. It's shameful how little lately. I'm outside every day, and I'm in for a decent portion of the day. But lately I've usually been working, helping my landlords with their property as part of my arrangement of living here. And uh, I look at last March, I have like 1,179 photos that I still have to go through, and a good portion of the crappy ones have already been deleted. This March, I think, other than I took maybe 200 personal photos, which is great for storage, but it's sad, I, that I get to, only pop out there for 10, 15, 20 minutes at a clip, just to move around as I sit, most of my days in front of two large computer monitors trying to figure out how to get people out from behind their two computer monitors. And isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Yeah, it's a little too ironic, unfortunately. God damn. Where did we go wrong? What happened? We have this amazing ability to create and build so many, stunningly beautiful things and insane technologies, and it's all paid for with this imaginary currency. How many of you carry cash on you on a regular basis? You know, Not many people do anymore. Um, it's just a nebulous number in a machine somewhere. So, you'd think after everything we've been through as a species, I've been reading about certain theories around the Younger Dryas Ice Age, and supposedly there was one point, something like not too long ago, you know, a couple of tens of thousands of years where 90 something percent, 95% of the Homo sapien population was killed. And, I've seen papers that estimate as little as 120,000 human beings were left, once the glacier started to recede. So we've gone from 150,000 to I don't even know how many billion in 20,000 years. And then you think how many of those years we spent living in harmony with, relative harmony with nature. Um, Way longer than we've had these, or the camera I'm looking at, or the computer I'm streaming through, or the cars we drive. If you think about how once we move to a more agrarian based lifestyle, uh, you know, that's when the land stopped being owned by nobody because, you know, peoples back then, no matter what continent they were on, hunter gatherer peoples had an incredible respect and reverence for the earth because it provided all of their needs. And in such a short time, we went from having this connection with this being that is a composition of 10 million other beings to where you can just feel it flow through you, to living in cities, millions of people stacked on top of each other, but never feeling more lonely. You know, there's a big difference between being alone and lonely, as my father says, and uh, and then not to mention, just the utter horrible violence and genocide. Our species started to really commit, during the empire years of all the, and all the great empires of the world, there were horrible things that happened to people. There was slavery, down to just killing humans for sport. It's been happening for eons, and as somebody who has so much love and thanksgiving and gratitude for every living thing I come across, I just can't fathom uh, doing things like that. Yes, have I taken the lives of many animals? Absolutely. And every one of them haunts me. Not haunts me, but lives within me now. And that's why I make sure, on the times I do hunt, that I get as close as I possibly can to ensure that that animal does not suffer at all. A lot of people, despise hunting because they think it's cruel. Well, when you find an animal that's died of winter starvation, and think about what that must have been like for that animal that is able to exist without food for far longer than we are, dying in the winter, or catching, some horrible disease. I remember one time when I lived in Illinois, coming upon a pod of deer that had gotten caught up in a river because they all had gotten the blue tongue disease that basically swells their tongue up so much and they get this fever and they always die in water because they dehydrate to death because their tongue gets so big it doesn't allow them to drink. Ooh, starting to sound like my dad's podcast. It's going to be a little bit more peppy today since it's April 1st. I was actually, and, once again, the best laid plans. My plan today was to actually like set up my woods office and my desk and like have an actual suit on and run it like a long form news channel. Uh, but anyway, one thing I'm going to be doing soon is interviews. So hopefully going to test that out soon. with either Rick Barry from Ford Triple E, or Adam LaRue from the Sharpening Stone, um, maybe Brad Ceylon from Roots, since he has the most camera computer knowledge out of the lot. Um, yeah, I really want to start interviewing people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I want to interview Ralph and Debbie DeMeo, the founders of Weatherwool, for keeping me warm and alive with my 2% body fat through these cold Oregon winters. And their clothing, their jackets are so finely made. I, uh, I, you know, it's funny. I was out there splitting wood yesterday in the pouring rain, and there was work people working on the house during one of the windstorms that we had recently. Um, uh, a large hemlock tree fell on my landlord's um, shop and kind of wooden garage base. Really, really beautiful structure. And, those guys are out there and they got like the full rubber suit on. Sorry, gotta answer this real quick. Unless Ralph's watching already. Anyway, so I'm sitting out there in my weather wool, my weather wool and my pants and my hood up, and I got you know peanut-sized hail bouncing off me, and I've got a couple wool layers on underneath that and a scarf, and it's just such an amazing fabric. I am so thankful to Ralph and Debbie. Talk about uh, inspirational, business people, example to follow. They, for all of the horrible crap that happened to me this year, they had their own set of horrible incidents that where they didn't get the wool on time that they were supposed to, and or something was wrong here or there, and then all during the pandemic there were supply issues of everything, and they're still playing catch up, and they are some of the most honest, awesome, hardworking people, and they're such an inspiration to me, and I am 100 million% proud to represent their brand. I literally, trust them with my life, their clothing. I know that going out on a day like today where it's about 44 degrees out and it's it's rowing, which is raining and snowing at the same time. If I went out, it's wet. But the thing that amazes me the most about weather wool, and I've worn many different types of wool in my life, is just how quick your body heat dries it out. Even if you've only got a couple layers on under it, or you've got 4 layers on, you get out of the rain, and within like 15 minutes, the anorak is dry, just from your body heat. So kudos to you guys, Ralph and Debbie. I want to have them on and interview them and convince them to spend some R&D dollars on developing a usable pair of wool gloves that you can actually work in not like, your grandma's mittens that you got every Christmas. But I have yet to find a, wool glove that just doesn't disintegrate with the type of work I do. Whether it's the bushcraft skills or log splitting or running the chainsaw. Um, you can always go the liner route, but then that's one other thing I got to take off if I got to take my you know expose my hand for some reason. So yeah, Ralph and Debbie, make me some gloves, please, please, please. Anyway, my main reason for this episode though was to say thank you to those of you who have chosen to spend your hard-earned dollars, uh, you know, helping me through this tough time, even though I don't have access to the money when I actually need it. Uh, I was flabbergasted. I asking, you know, it's asking somebody for money is very uncomfortable. But if I am going to continue to try and change the world, I need, I need a little help from the community. And that will get paid back tenfold because every person I lead back to nature is a person that you helped get led back to nature, with your donation. Every dollar, keeps me going that much longer. And, uh, you know, I, I have a clarity now. I went through the most horrible sickness in the days preceding launching the campaign, which is only like 30, or that's I think it's right about a week old. Um, but yeah, a few days before, I haven't been sick other than Lyme's related stuff in 15 years. The last time I got sick was at the Boy Scout camp at a tracker school class when somebody brought the stomach flu in. And imagine a class with like 80 people, 90 people, and 75% of them have this stomach ailment where it's both ending. Yeah, not pretty. That was the last time I remember getting sick. But yeah, whatever I had before I launched the campaign, I feel like it was the last of the self doubt and the fear and the anger and the things that were really holding me back from achieving my, let this feel a anime line, but from achieving my ultimate form, the ultimate T3.99965. But yeah, even though financially things aren't the best, I'm rich in spirit. I'm rich in, people reaching out to me. I'm rich in the ability that I have 12 acres of some of the most beautiful wilderness to wander around on. Um, I have so much to be thankful for. And I get down on myself, and then, you know, there's always people who are going to have it better than you, and there's probably going to be a lot more people that have it worse than you will ever have, or I will ever have. There's people, that what I'm going through is paltry compared to what they're going through. So I decided to, as I say, stop wallowing in my own crapulence and get those wheels turning. And that has spawned, as soon as I flip that switch in my head to uh, a place of positivity as opposed to, dwelling in the negative, all of a sudden, people are reaching out to me for private classes. And within 2 days, I booked two classes that are going to make up, half of my budget and living expenses for the year. Um, or, darn close to it. No, maybe not that much, but a decent amount of money. And now, because of the campaign and, my dad mentioning it and the community sharing, if there's one thing I could ask you to do, so one thing I'm trying to do is really build my YouTube channel to where there's going to be instructional videos. There's going to be, my regularly updated video journal, especially as we move into spring and summer. I'm going to have all this, content that I'm going to continually create and put in front of your eyes. And as you all know, you can monetize a YouTube channel, but you need 1,000 subscribers before you do that. I'm at like 720. So tell your friends, tell everybody, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're going to get nothing but the best content out there. And stuff that I worked really hard on. And I'm stoked because I can see, like, my YouTube channel is a visual reference of my progress of learning to become a filmmaker, as well as a photographer. And so so thankful for that. Sure, I've got hard drives full of material, but it's not like in my face when I'm looking at it and setting up my live streams or other videos that I try and upload. So my goal that I'm shooting for is to try to upload one skill video a week, one video journal a week, maybe two, and then one T3Live a month. And then as we move into summer, and I can do it in the woods, I can't wait because I'm going to start essentially just teaching for free. I am going to, June, whatever's T3Live might be cordage making, or, something like that. Yeah. So I don't have much more to say, like I said, other than the immense amount of gratitude I have for those of you that I can feel pulling for me and, sending me love, sending me support, helping me learn new skills. I'm not meant to be a business human. I'm meant to teach, write, and create content. So I'm thankful to those folks so much. So much. Yeah, there's just not enough words. So, thank you all. You know who you are. So I am going to call it. My tummy's rumbly, meaning that I need to go put some fettuccine alfredo in it that I'm going to make for dinner. Alone, but not lonely. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. Give somebody a hug. Connect with an old friend. That's something I've been doing lately, making an effort to do, is connect with old friends. Pick up some trash. Be that caretaker that I'm trying to, I'm calling 2023 the year of the caretaker. where I really start to push forward this agenda of, an army of humans that just leave goodness in their wake. And speaking of that, the class that Rick Barry down in Nevada City, California, and Rick runs for EEE.org. I'll put it in the show notes after it uploads. We have a class on Earth Day weekend that we looking for a few more students for. So it's going to be how about the way of the caretaker and how to pass that ethic on to your children. Because, face it, we're done for, relatively. It's the kids, it's our children and our grandchildren that really need this. I wish I liked teaching kids more. But anyway, yeah, you are all the best. And there aren't even words to describe. So until next time, peace and love.